So I've received several emails over the last week from people that have lost money or are losing money with these online social media gurus, right? These people have lost large amounts of money. So today's video, I want to kind of show you how we approach and properly either loan out money to real estate deals or put out money when we're going into a real estate deal with other people. So you can get out there and apply it when you come to bring money, especially when you're putting out large chunks of money like these people did. We're going to go over one of these case studies. I'm going to read you the message right from the guy. All right, let's do it. Okay, class, it's Chris Haskins with TheRealEstateRoundup.com. My mission, my ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. So today, I've really been bothered this past week. It really hurts and burns me up when people bring money or they loan money to others, and then the people that borrow the money don't do right by them. You know, I just don't understand, how does this stuff happen? And further, why do people do this to others? So I want you to understand how to bring money or loan money to a real estate guy or put money in a deal for yourself where you're not actually on title. So let's first of all find out what the guy says. So he direct messaged me right here on Instagram. Hey Chris, my name's XYZ. This may sound a bit odd, but I'm kind of new to the real estate business. I watch a lot of your posts for motivation, and I finally built up the courage to direct message you. I've wanted to ask for a specific piece of advice for some time, and it shouldn't only take a few minutes of your time. Okay, how can I help you? I loaned someone a significant $80K amount of money and have not been paid for my services. I have the contracts signed. Do you have any advice for me on how I should go about this? Do I need to sue him, or do you have a good attorney that can help me with this? So the first thing I asked the gentleman was, all right, tell me about your security. Security. What do you do if someone stops paying? That's what we're going to get into today, because it's just a matter of time before one deal goes bad. How do I know that? Back in 2008, 9, 10, I lost tons of money loaning money to other investors where the deals just blew up on me. So he says all in total, I've loaned $80,000 to the guy. So let's go over, if you're watching this, I hope you get a lot of value out of this training here, because I don't want anybody to lose money. Here's the thing, when I first got in real estate, I found out how hard it was to go borrow money from the banks. And I told myself, oh my God, universe, if you were to ever send me people that would trust me, that would believe in my operation, I would treat their money with the utmost respect. I would borrow it. I would pay it back on time every time. I would pay them back what we agreed, sometimes more. I would treat their money better than my money. See, if you're an investor, you have to make sure that the lenders get paid back first, and then your profit is way down here. Forget your profit. I don't care about your profit. I care about the people that are backing you. Those are the ones that are trusting and believing that you're going to do the right thing. So how do we protect ourselves when we put out large amounts of money in these real estate deals? All right. The first thing we have to make sure is that we're involved in below market value real estate. Now, a lot of us are saying, well, I don't know. Sometimes the real estate deal may not be below market value. Let's say, for instance, if the house is worth $200,000 and the guy wants to borrow $150,000, I don't want your loan to be more than $100 and $120. You're going to loan out, or you're going to put out money below market value. That doesn't necessarily mean that the guy's buying it for below market value. You have to make sure that your money is secured below market value. So if he needs 150, you bring 110 to the deal. Like I'm bringing 110. The borrower or whoever's doing the deal has to actually bring the rest of the money. That's what gives them what we call skin in the game, right? Gone are the days of 100% financing. I ain't finna do all that, right? So below market, your loan or the money you're bringing, whatever it is, doesn't have to be a loan. If you're bringing in money, you have to bring that money in below what the market is of that property, market value. Number two, you best get a deed of trust or a mortgage. Oh my Lord. So the first thing I asked this gentleman was, what's your security? No security. The guy didn't have any security. All he has is contracts. So let's talk about the deed of trust or the mortgage, which is going to give you your security. Security helps us to sleep at night. The deed of trust, let's talk about that real quick. Got to get your Barron's book. If you don't have one, make sure you download one. There's the links right in the video description for that. It's a conveyance of real estate to a third party to be held for the benefit of another, commonly used in some states in place of a mortgage that conditionally conveys title to the lender. It is a three-party instrument, three-party agreement, right? So you got the borrower, you've got the lender, then you have the trustee. So the trustee is going to foreclose on you. The lender has to hire the trustee to do the foreclosure. But the mortgage is a two-party agreement, deed of trust, three-party agreement. You can Google whatever your state is. So the deed of trust, Virginia is a deed of trust state, so I understand that specifically. So you have to decide, you have to Google what your state is. But either way, it allows you to put a lien against the property. So if something, I always say, look, if when people come to me for money, if you get struck by lightning, if you get hit by a bus, what am I going to do to get your money back? I remember a friend of mine, Chris Birch, he was talking about how a guy wanted him to loan him some money to buy some pizza equipment for a kitchen. He was opening up a restaurant. And I'm like, Chris, what's your security? He goes, well, I guess it's going to be an oven and a griddle, and I guess all the equipment inside the restaurant. And my thing is, listen, if that's your security, I can imagine you, the guy defaults on the loan. You're going to be driving down the street in a box truck with a pizza oven in a bag and a griddle and all these pots and pans. I don't want that security, okay? I want solid real estate. That's the security I want. So if my borrower, or when the borrower gets struck by lightning or hit by a bus, we can unobstructable take back the property and get my money. But how does that work? So I want to make sure you are in first position on your deed of trust or your mortgage. Well, what does that mean, Chris? Well, see, when you're in first position, I'm not going to even say if, because my guy, if you're watching, he has no security. All he has is documents, and we're going to go over how to deal with that too. If you don't do any of all this stuff, I'm going to help you with that also. First position means that when your guy stops paying, if he does, you get to wipe out all the other liens. Let's say he borrows $100,000 from you, and he goes out there and gets an HOA lien, or a child support lien, or some creditor credit card lien, or somebody that he did some work on another property is coming after him for that money. So when you're in first position, you get to wipe out all the other liens. Now, the way we get in first position is at the time that we loan the person the money, or the time that we close the deal and we record our deed of trust or our mortgage, it gets recorded before any other liens or judgments, right? So, and sometimes you can do second position, but the key thing you have to remember when you do second position, if you were to have to foreclose on the property, you still have to deal with first position lender or whatever. So second position, I have done that. I've won and I have lost in second position. The thing you have to, the main hurdle that you have to consider when doing second position loans or bringing money to a deal in second position, am I willing to take back the security if the guy doesn't pay? Let me repeat that. Whenever I do a second position deal or I loan money to somebody and they secure it with a second position note, I have to ask myself, Chris, are you willing to take over that first and take this house back? That's what I have to ask myself, because if you're in second, you still got to highlight that first before you do anything. You got to satisfy it. All right. So the main thing you have to consider after the below market value is your security. Now, next, how am I secured? Always ask myself, how am I going to secure myself? Number 3, the promissory note. This is going to outline the terms. What are the monthly payments? What is the interest rate? Is there any interest rate? When does the loan mature? All that stuff's going to be outlined right here. So that is what your borrower signs. Now, if he doesn't own the property in his name, or he could possibly put his LLC or his trust and his name, we want to get a personal guarantee on this thing if we can. So the note is the terms. This is your security if he doesn't follow the terms, and then your below market value. If you follow this stuff here, you're going to be safe. And last is going to be your hazard insurance, just in case the property burns down. That's why I love real estate. You can hedge against loss. So that's why I don't quite understand the stock market or doing paper investing. Obviously, they have all type of stops and puts and all that stuff, but I don't really get it. But with real estate, if it burns down, I get a check. And further, if you want to get key man insurance, that's another policy that you can even go further above and beyond. If something happens to your borrower, he God forbid moves on to the afterlife, or once again, I always like to say hit by a bus, struck by lightning, you have a key man policy on him. It's almost like a life insurance that you get paid. You get paid when that happens. So you can get hazard insurance and key man insurance, which I didn't even know was until I started hanging out with attorneys. It's crazy. Okay, so follow these 4 steps. Now, if you're like my man from IG, you know I got love for you, man. I'm doing this for you, actually, and for the others. If you don't get all this stuff and all you got is a note, a document saying Joe owes me this money, you can go file a lis pendens. All that means is a lawsuit pending against the property that's owned in the name of the person on the paperwork. Now, usually the savvy investors are not going to own all their real estate in one name. So you're going to have to dig up, do some scurrying and some researching to find out how you can file this lis pendens against a property that he may own, right? So when you file this lis pendens, oh man, he's going to have to talk to you then, because he cannot transfer title until this lis pendens is released. It is what we call a cloud on title. So if you mess up all this, and you need to take the house back and you need your guy to talk to you, because no doubt, you know how it is when people owe you money. They don't want to talk to you. Don't return your calls. I'm like, just talk to me. I'm cool with everything. Just keep the lines of communication open so we can figure this thing out. If you don't want to do all that, go hire you an attorney. It's probably going to cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to file a lis pendens against that property. Hopefully, the promissory note is going to be in the same name as the owner of the property, so it will file against that property. All right, so all is not lost. All right, you got all you guys out there doing business. I don't know why you would do that. Doing business without any security, it's just crazy. It's just unusual to me. But now you know what to do. Don't get involved with any real estate unless you got some security. So take a second and subscribe to the channel, y'all. We're passing 118,000 subscribers. Like this content. And we've got some other videos for you here to watch that's going to help your real estate investing career. Share this with anybody else that needs to understand, how do I make sure I'm protected when I bring money to a real estate deal? How am I protected if I'm not on title? All right. We'll see you on the next video, Roundup homies. Peace.